One is there needs to be a certain amount of education with an open mind. And meaning that when you do learn some different things, don't be so dang defensive because you've been doing it different that you just try to hold on to how you've been doing it.
Yes.
Because you don't want to feel like you're wrong.
Yes.
Instead, think about the big picture here. What matters the most? Where are you going to? What is your philosophy?
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jackie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. All right, off microphone just now. Jackie's saying, "Oh, you have such a radio voice," and you just said, "Well," and that's a prelude, and you're jealous.
Well, that's just because for our entire married life, everyone says, "Are you a radio announcer? You have the best radio voice." They've told Greg this for years. He thinks I'm jealous. I'm like, no, I'm married to the best radio voice, man.
I hate when people say that, and especially with some of our friends around, the guys who we always are jaw-jacking each other. Because then the comment always comes up I think what that person meant was, you have a face for radio. It happens all the time. All right. That's why we do YouTubes now, just because.
Because you're a face for radio.
Yes.
Anyways, I was kind of going on, and I just looked at Chrissy, and I said, that's a thing, isn't it?
Hey, let's back up a little bit. So just that last comment from Chrissy.
Well, as Chrissy and I were, driving past, she said, Mom, a girl from the golf team who's a freshman just said to me, "Wow, I'm having such a hard time today because my best friend of however many years just started dating my crush that I've had." And Chrissy said, "How does that happen, Mom? Why would you date her crush?" And I said, "I know." I go, "It's really hard." And I go, "Here you are in an environment where you want to fit in. So you're trying to find a boyfriend to fit in because everyone seems to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You forgot what friendship even means because you're too young to even know what that means. And now this girl, your friend from golf, doesn't have a best friend, doesn't have a crush, and she's supposed to perform at school, do well at sports, feel confident, all this stuff, when in a matter of 24 to 48 hours, her whole life changed in her mind." And whoever,
and it is her world right now.
In her world. And we can downplay it and make it sound like, oh, it's just a crush. You didn't really date him. But to her, it was her world.
No, it literally, I'm 51 years young, and it literally reminds me of things that bothered me, that friends hurt me when I was that age.
15 or 16 years old.
Yeah.
And still hurt you at that time. I mean, obviously you're past it because you're married to me. So those crushes
that helped me get over all of it.
I figured. But I just thought to myself, I'm like, I just look back and I remember those days so well. I mean that I was telling Chris, I'm like, I know it's a lot of pressure in today's world with social media where everyone's posting everything. That wasn't even a thing for you and me, but it was a hard thing. I remember this leading up to Fridays, knowing you weren't invited to something and people are whispering about it. And then, not only were you not invited, but come Monday, they're all talking about how that was the best weekend ever.
Oh yeah.
And they know you were probably sitting at home with your parents.
Yeah.
And you're like, so how do I shift? Who do I go talk to? Who do I become a friend with?
Right.
And of course, all loving moms are sitting down with their daughters and all loving dads are sitting down with their sons saying, it's not a big deal. Those friends don't really matter. Go find some new ones.
Yeah.
Well-meaning
5
advice.
Years from now, you want to remember this, which is true.
It is true.
But you don't know how to interpret that when you're in that season. Right?
No. And some parents will say, well, they need to learn it somehow. That's true. So we need to put them in these environments and do this. And I couldn't agree more. These conversations that I have with Kirsty, she's actually in the environment.
Yeah.
But she's in it for a handful of hours with a structured sports schedule around it with
an intentional, limited amount of time.
Yes.
With open communication with you and me.
Correct.
Yeah.
And to her, that's enough
already.
already.
We get to train them through it.
That's right.
She doesn't have to sit in it. She doesn't have to go experience it. She can actually learn from other people's experiences and let us help her process it.
Right. Because imagine going to school, what is it, 8 hours a day-ish? Then you play 2-3 hours of sports. Then you have to do homework because I don't even understand why you can't get that stuff done during the day. And then on top of that, you're trying to connect with your friend group who might not play the sport you play.
Yeah.
So now you're trying to do the phone thing
Yeah.
and the boyfriend or the whatever.
So true.
And we wonder why sometimes kids today are so frustrated, you know, and they feel so disconnected. And they go into their rooms and all they want to do is zone out watching XYZ.
Yeah, and then, you throw in most parents are allowing social media in their kids' lives.
Yes.
And so now, as we know, there's some really evil algorithms that are designed to
On
draw
purpose.
people in for ads and for money. And so now, if she's even mentioning things about, I'm depressed, next thing you know, she's
Oh
getting
my gosh.
flooded with all these reasons why it makes sense that you're depressed and how you should, how to handle your depression.
Yes.
Like,
What are you talking about?
but you get sucked into it, and now you're medicating because this stuff's stressful out in the world. So now you're medicating here, but you're actually feeding the stress, and it is. It's like, and then you wonder why things like suicide is the highest rate ever in history right now.
Yeah.
Things like this. I mean, I got a basketball friend that I play with. And one of the other guys told me, because they know that we have a faith background, they know that we really put a lot of energy into family and to raising kids and champion kids. And he said, you might want to talk to, his name's Kobe. You might want to talk to Kobe. I heard him. He's just struggling. His daughter's a senior, and she's just talking about how depressed she is. She's even mentioned her thoughts of suicide and everything. And I'm trying to talk to him about this, just to almost kind of be there. But I mean, I have to tell you, like, his mentality was kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just girl hormones or something. Or I'm like, well, I would take it a little more serious. You want to talk about it a little bit? Well, it's just this. He's just like, he was like a brick wall instead of actually, I would like to talk to somebody about it. What have you ever dealt with anything like this? Do you have any suggestions? Like, he wasn't even open, and I was pushing.
Of course, because you care.
And it frustrates me. Because I know it's not what you want for your
No.
kid. And just because you don't know what to do, don't be so stubborn. You won't actually get some help.
Yeah. And I think, if anyone's out there, probably people are like, okay, so we are in this scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of parents that are, like a lot of parents, they're in this world of this right now. What are some suggestions? Like, what would you suggest, coming from your perspective? Like, if you're dealing where, okay, they haven't decided to homeschool yet, or for whatever reason they can't. We're in this world, and everything you're saying actually is kind of resonating with me. And I'm getting a little like, I better get involved.
Yeah.
What would you?
Well, I think the fastest path to making change, like, one is there needs to be a certain amount of education with an open mind. And meaning that when you do learn some different things, don't be so dang defensive because you've been doing it different that you just try to hold on to how you've been doing it.
Yes.
Because you don't want to feel like you're wrong.
Yes.
Instead, like, think about the big picture here. What matters the most? Where are you going to? What is your philosophy? And now, what path are you on? If you're trying to go here, but you're going this direction, you're not going to get here if the direction's always this way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now, you got to do, you got to say, hey, listen, maybe you need to wave down and ask for some help. Because the fastest path, outside of just educating yourself through podcasts like this or other resources we could suggest, is you need to seek some people.
Yes.
You need to seek mentors. You need to pay for them if you need to. You need to invest into it if you need to. You need to make time for it. You need to lower your ego. And then you need it, like, and who do you find for that? People who have results like you want.
Right.
And when you find them, man, you don't sit there and be like negotiate and try to be cheap and broke with them. Realize they've gotten where they're at, and they bring wisdom. The fastest path to growth is having some people peek into your life that have what you want, and you humble yourself enough to say, I want what you have. How do I go from where I'm at to there? And let them talk, right? And I'll tell you, it's like for us in every category, that's what's helped us level up the fastest.
Correct.
Is actually taking the time and energy and investment in doing that. So
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think another one I would add is making sure that you're actually discussing this husband and wife. Don't put the pressure on just one person to figure it out. This is a combined effort. Sometimes I come up with some ideas and you're like, hey, that's really good. Could we add this to it or vice versa?
yeah, we do that all the time.
And we talk about it all so that we're both quite aware of what's happening in the house. Even especially since majority of the time, since a lot of what we're going through, it's the girls right now. being the olders going through it first, I might hear or see something that you might not, but I bring it to your attention and say, hey, we're kind of dealing, like even the conversation with Chrissy yesterday, I was like, I just want to tell you, here's some of the things the girls are thinking lately.
Yeah.
And she's on the right track, but we need to keep edifying this because they're being bombarded more than we realize.
Yeah. And it really ultimately led to you and I having a conversation about, we feel like we've worked pretty hard to get to the place we're at with our family. And I feel like they're handling things better than most because of all of those years of prep work. Right. But at the same time, we're also sitting there saying we need to press in more now.
Right.
Like we can't get lazy.
No.
We can't think we've set something in motion and it'll just go on cruise control. But we got to actually step in a little harder because the world is getting crazier, right? And there is a battle for our children. Yes. That's a fact, right? Yes. And we need to go to war for them. So.
Yeah, and I think another thing I would say if parents are sitting out there is, it's okay. I think we've said this many times, so I just want to remind you, it's okay to pull back the reins. For our kids, for instance, even this Friday, you're going to take someone to the local football game. It'd be really easy to let our girls drive off with their friends and go to the game and do their thing. But instead, we made a decision. We're going to drive as a family. You don't have to sit with us. You can go sit with your, friends from sports and stuff like that. But we're all going to be there. Okay? And if anything gets a little strange or conversations get strange, I want you to come over and sit with us for a while. And we're just going to enjoy it together. And then we're driving home together so that we can hear what's going on. No, you don't get to go out and do, more time with your friends. You already spent an hour and a half watching the game together.
Right.
I get it. Everybody else is going for ice cream or food or whatever else.
Yeah.
You're going to come home because
we're gonna go when we decide, and we're gonna be the ones that lead that, and we're gonna make decisions what's best for everybody. Like for instance, we've shown up at games before, and they're celebrating something we don't celebrate.
Correct.
And not just celebrating, but kind of forcing it down your throat. And I'm like, we are not gonna we're
not staying for this.
Just because we spent $10 getting a football game each, which for us is $80, right? Just because we did that, we're not staying till the end because we paid for it. We walk in, we see the atmosphere, we're like, we're gonna go do something different tonight. Yeah. We're going to go have fun doing something else, right?
And then, again, that gives us an opportunity in the car to explain to all kids of all ages why we left, how to leave, why you leave. And we've even explained to our kids, like how you've even explained to your friends.
Yeah.
Just as simple as, actually, we just don't celebrate what's going on today. So we're going to head out. My family and I are going to head out. We're going to go do something else. So I'll see you on Tuesday at practice.
Yeah.
And we just leave it at that. They don't have to lecture. They don't have to do anything, Like, it's more just, we're heading out. This is not our thing.
Yeah.
And I think, don't feel bad. So many times I hear parents say, well, I just don't want to hold them back from having friends, or I don't want them to be the outcast, or I don't want them to feel like they don't belong or something like that. And, our philosophy is, high school can be fun if it's done properly. And we all make mistakes through it, by the way. That's part of high school. That's part of being young. But our philosophy is also that, we're not just going to put you in positions to constantly go and push the buttons just because you think these are the best days of your lives and you have no responsibility.
Right.
Like, actually, high school is a little bit of your life.
That's right.
A very little bit.
Such a good point.
Of your life. And I think you and I can just attest that actually our high school years, you said a little bit earlier, is like some of the biggest mistakes we've even made that we had to deal with for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And we just don't feel like that's the lessons our kids need to learn.
Correct. No, it's super, super important what you're saying because, it's like, it's like, you don't, for lack of a better example, you don't teach your kids how to avoid like vulgar temptation, call it like whatever it is, pornography, things like that, by putting them in a room with a bunch of pornographic things.
Correct.
That's not how you teach them, right? You teach them through explain to them, going through the word about this and what you put in your ears and in your eyes actually impacts your everything about who you are, and then what kind of problems it can create later. And so the best thing you do is never let yourself get in atmospheres where you even get started. Like you have these kind of conversations, and then when you get in an environment, say for that example, and all of a sudden we're watching something and there's basically soft porn on the program, we're like, we aren't watching this. We're guarding our ear gates. We're guarding our eye gates. This is an epidemic problem for people, and we are not engaging in it.
Not participating.
And still doing it. Our kids are 16. We're still doing it. We're still limiting everything. And, you can say, well, they're going to turn 18 and then 19 and 20, and they're going to start making their own decisions. And that's a fact. But doggone it, we will have built this thought process in. So by
Yes.
then they will make good decisions, right? I'm not saying they'll make perfect ones.
No.
But I'm not going to just feed this into them at the age where they're so impressionable, and then
Yes.
this becomes part of their life.
Becomes the norm then.
You know, running our Man Maker program, and I'm talking to guys, and we get pretty vulnerable and open. And I mean, 70% of them deal with the pornography thing,
Right.
right? That's a normal stat across men. And I try to ask all of them, how did it start? Oh, my big brother, gave me this Playboy when I was 13 years old, made fun of me if I wouldn't look at it, right? It's story after story of environments from school people or whatever. And it's like just one of those examples. And now you throw that in, when I was a kid, that's where that you had access to that was through books like that. Now it's media.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's disgusting the kind of stuff that they try to push into your anyways, I know I'm ranting here, but it's an example of overall just realizing that our kids are under constant pressure
In all areas.
in all areas. And so, yes, parents, it is a lot of work.
Yes.
Yes, we have to be on our game and get it. We all got to run our businesses and do our jobs, and we all got to have our own stuff, and we're dealing with our own stuff. And so by the end of you using all that up, that's why you gotta feed yourself in the Word. You gotta
Yes.
surround yourself with good people. You gotta create as much. You gotta create as much going for you in the right direction as you possibly can. So then you have the energy to face into all of these wars that you have to battle. Right?
And then you just need to embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Love you.
Love you.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.